So, Jacques, thanks for being here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, indeed.
Well, this is an exciting thing, and certainly it has grown and developed into an international event. And so I want to offer congratulations on the success of that. And I want you to describe what modernism is. But first of all, can you give the website and telephone number for those listeners that would like to know?
Certainly. The website is the main source of information, and that's what we keep always current with all the latest developments and events that keep being added to the schedule. The website is modernismweek.com.
All right.
Now, and the phone number which we have for information is 760-832-3202.
Okay, that's great. Now, all right, let's define modernism. I think we all know we have these wonderful things in the valley, these beautiful homes and everything else, but what is the definition of modernism?
There is, there is no real straight definition of what modernism is. It's a genre. It's basically all that emerged in terms of both design and architecture after World War II. It was a totally different approach to living, approach to recreation, and that prompted a whole new surge of fascinating architecture and home, life at home. So
yes, and we certainly are the center of it here in Palm Springs, and that's what brings a lot of people here, and that's what brought a lot of people here, very creative people. Now, your interest in the genre started many years ago, but in 2001, you were personally the powerhouse behind the Palm Springs Modernism show, and you helped to bring that brainchild into reality in 2001. How did you move from a love of modernism to the development and creation that is now a week of events?
It's a natural evolution. We started the show at the convention center in 2001, the Modernism show, which was an immediate success. We had about 80 dealers come from all over the country, and the show turned out to be just hugely successful. And in parallel, the Architecture and Design Council at the museum was doing for already a couple of years a symposium, an architecture symposium.
Yes.
And we decided that it would make sense we could try with having the Modernism show on one weekend, having the symposium on the following weekend, to create and come up with ideas and parties and events during the weekdays in between the two events. And we called it Modernism Week. And the idea, of course, was to bring people to the city, to Palm Springs, to increase the tourism and to bring room nights, among other things.
Well, and it's done that, and certainly I think it's becoming the mega center, one of the mega centers, if not the mega center. I like to think it's the mega center in Palm Springs of modernism. Well, let's talk about some of the over 50 events that you're having. Give a general overview of what people can expect, and then I'm going to ask you to give some specifics, which we'll talk about. But First, give the overview.
Well, we have several categories, I could call them, of events. We have the events that are maybe, to start with, the more scholar ones, like we have a design lecture series, we have an architecture and preservation lecture series. We also have a film series, which we've done now for the third time with Design on Screen, a nonprofit organization from Denver. And this year we will have 11 screenings, both about architecture and/or design. We also have double-decker architectural bus tours, which are hugely popular.
Oh, and yes, everybody wants to see that architecture here.
It's just amazing. So it's a 3-hour tour, and for people who, especially for the ones who are coming for the first time to Palm Springs, it's the best way to.
Yes, they want to see it all.
It's a 101 type of tour, and then of course we have something very, very important is parties.
Oh,
we like
that's
to party
really
in Palm Springs. So we do that as often as we can throughout the week.
Well, you know, one thing that really appealed to me that is brand new, there's some new things going on that we're certainly going to talk about, but I love the fact that it's going to be the West Coast premier exhibition of amazing vintage Braniff Airline uniforms by fashion designers Pucci and Halston.
Yes.
I remember those.
Be careful
those.
when you say that.
No, I don't remember them in person, but I remember seeing them in New York.
Yes,
many,
indeed. I mean, I remember in the 60s, and certainly the visuals where the company exploited the visuals for many years.
And I'm going to attend that, and I've got a Pucci tie, a vintage Pucci tie that I intend to wear. That's the only Pucci that I have.
I think that's what's going to happen that evening. Everybody is going to try to out-Pucci the other one.
I love that. Can you out-Pucci me today? Well, I also want to mention, too, the other thing that's new, and that's going to be a lot of fun, is that you're going to have a kickoff, a wonderful party kickoff celebration in downtown Palm Springs on Thursday, February 17th. How fun is that?
Yeah, that's totally brilliant. One of our board members came up with that idea, and basically, as a way to kick off Modernism Week, all of a sudden at 6 p.m. on Thursday, the 17th, a whole bunch of modern building along Palm Canyon are going to be illuminated, and it will bring. It has a drama value, but it also has sort of an educational value because it will point out to people which buildings we're talking about when we talk about modernism.
Yes. Oh, that is going to be so fun. Now, but we also want to talk about the Modernism show, which is now expanded to 4 days from February 18th to 21st. That's going to be at the convention center.
Yeah, that's always at the convention center.
And what can we see there?
And the show is always held on President's Day weekend, which is the kickoff weekend for for Modernism Week. You can see all kinds of. It's 20th century design. However, the main focus of the show, I must admit, is more 50s to 70s because that really just is a perfect match with Palm Springs. So there's no point to bring Art Deco here when most 99% of the people have mid-century furniture.
Well,
in
now
their house.
you're from France, and I'm sure you visited Brussels, and I'm sure you have visited that area that have all that wonderful Art Deco architecture.
Oh, yes,
that
indeed,
I would just stand in front of it and just practically drool, thinking how gorgeous and how lucky they were to have maintained that.
Yeah.
And New York City, of course. I mean, we have some too, but I think Brussels is really a
Brussels
good
has
example.
a huge trove of Art Deco architecture, no doubt.
So how large is that exhibition or the dealers or venues or whatever you want to call them?
The show is typically sold out every year, and it has room for about 75, 80 exhibitors. And they come, there's a good bunch from California, but they come from all over the country.
And there'll be artwork and furniture.
Yes, it's what we refer to as decorative and fine arts.
Yeah, so
it's both furniture, lighting, objects, and some clothing, the vintage clothing dealer.
That's going to be
fun. From San Francisco, and of course paintings, sculptures, and all that.
It's all going to be fun. That's the thing.
All good. That's the whole idea.
You must be so excited about it because I'm excited. When you start reading the list, you think, and I know that Linda Kramer of Vortex Public Relations is certainly very involved in getting all of this PR out and was just wonderful in providing me with so much material that we can't possibly cover it all. But this is going to be so exciting.
Well, I can come back for another interview anytime,
I'm going to have you come back. Certainly going to have you come back. Let me ask you now, I'm sure you love it all, but what is your favorite aspect of Modernism Week? Now, I know you've got new things coming up, but what is the favorite?
What keeps me going really is the response of the public. And especially after last year, I turned to my friend and I said, "What are we going to do? They just want more. They can't get enough."
That's right.
And that really is when you do something of that nature, and give your time and your effort. If you get the response from the public, then
well, of course,
it's a wonderful day for you.
Yes, it is. But is there some specific genre? I know by your biography, I know the type of design that you like. But like when you're here during the week, do you especially love the artwork? Do you love the furniture? Do you love the Pucci ties? Or what is one that you really adore?
It's a whole package in a way. I mean, and it's not necessarily at all about retro or about thinking when back when I was a kid or anything like that. It was just what we had at that time was really great and represented the fresh values, excitement on the part of many people, both the designers and architects, to come up with something new. And usually world wars do that. I mean, after World War I, we had the creation of Art Deco, and it all comes after a period of a war. It's something that's really traumatized a country, and then after that, everybody has excitement, and we reinvent ourselves in a way.
I like the fact that you explained it that way. That's certainly interesting. Well, is there anything that you would like to incorporate into the show that you haven't been able to up to now, either because of expense or the rarity of something, or what is your dream? Are you trying to tell me
you want a scoop for next year? There's plenty more. I mean, whenever and when we are working on events, and all of a sudden there is a little light bulb moment, and say, oh, maybe we could do that next year. So we will keep expanding, because that's the nature. I mean, the animal is hungry.
Of course,
I could say.
And that's the creative side of it. But I mean, is there something that you really have always wanted to do, but one just can't do it because you can't get it out of Russia or whatever? I mean, is there something that's rare that you just said to yourself, gosh, I wish we could get that over here? Because Russia has had some very interesting films and art of the period.
Yes,
the expressionism.
We have. I think that if we wanted something, we probably could get it. I mean, Palm Springs has such a name recognition in the entire world that whenever you say, "Oh, I'm from Palm Springs," people knew exactly what that means. So if
that's true.
If there was any particular concept or event that we would want to add to our schedule, we would get it.
Okay, next year get the Russian stuff in here.
That's a promise.
Because it is incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
I have to practice my accent there.
Well, this is a big benefit to the city of Palm Springs. Not only the city of Palm Springs, but people travel all through the valley when they're here. So, any idea of what kind of money it brings into our community, a show like this?
We computed that after last year's Modernism Week. It was almost $5 million
that's
using
not bad.
using the same formula.
Bad. Okay, I'm talking to Jacques Caussin, who is the board chairman of Modernism Week, and we're talking about the Palm Springs Modernism Week that will take place February 17th to 27th. Let's mention again how people can buy tickets. First, we should say there are a lot of free events, and that you can go on the website and find out some of them. You have to purchase tickets. Let's mention again how they do get those tickets.
Modernismweek.com is the website, and there is a ticket info page, and you can buy your tickets there.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to it, and I wish we had more time, but we don't. We are out of time, but I am so happy that you've been here to talk about this, and certainly we will talk again, and I look forward to seeing it myself. So thanks, Jacques. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for
You're
asking
very
me.
welcome.
It was a pleasure.